It looks like we're gonna have a beautiful, beautiful day. Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and others who shall remain nameless. And yes, you do know exactly who you are. We're going to talk about cool. The idea of cool and what it means to be cool. Today, there is throat goblins here. Today, there are two competing and diametrically opposed schools of cool among dumb teenagers who are desperately trying to be cool. And one of these is the Reddit atheist, a basement-dwelling suburban geek who wants to prove how cool he is by proving how smart he is by embracing the ultimate fashion accessory of intelligence, namely atheism. And at the other extreme, there is the real man, defined by fashion accessories that are meant to point out that I'm a real man. Yeah. Usually in the form of deeply suppressed, closeted homosexuality, senseless violence, and contempt for women. Yeah. The same toxic masculinity that is shared by the Reddit atheist. So hey, you both have something in common. Why don't you sit down and talk to each other? Yeah. So you buy the fashion accessories with no understanding of what they mean. Rather like mid-18th century French petty nobility bought skepticism as a fashion accessory to prove how fashionable they were. Again, with no understanding of what it meant. And these same petty nobles continued to embrace skepticism as a fashion accessory right up until they were introduced to Dr. Guillotine's machine. Yeah. And were equalized by one head. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, fashion accessory based cool doesn't necessarily have to lead to such dire consequences. It's still a bad idea, though. And I'm going to tell you a story from my own experience. I went to high school in the 80s, when cool meant a leather jacket, tight jeans, shoulder-length hair, or if your hair was even the least bit curly, an afro. A big afro. Yeah. With a pick stuck into it. And of course, cool also meant listening to the latest hard rock and roll. So there was AC/DC, there was Van Halen, and there was Aerosmith. Yeah. And of course, my parents, they didn't understand the importance of cool because they had never been cool. They had never cared about cool. And I was in a school where cool was the only thing that mattered. Yeah. And so there I was wearing seersucker with my hair buzzed short. Not just buzzed short, but buzzed short in a particularly horrible cut that made my head always look like a triangle. It always looked like I had a triangle head. It was hideous. And of course, Valley Speak was a popular fashion accessory, and so my father got me the Financial Times and said, this is Valley Speak. It's the Ottawa Valley. You can be the coolest kid there. Ha ha ha. Just talk about stocks and bonds. I did try that. I tried talking about stocks and bonds. Did I mention that it was the early 80s in rural northern Ontario? Teenagers don't talk about stocks and bonds, even now. Teenagers talk about bands, they talk about ideas sometimes, but they don't talk about stocks and bonds. So you've got this 15-year-old wearing seersucker with triangle head talking about stocks and bonds, trying desperately to not get the shit beat out of him by the cool kids. Yeah, that didn't go over very well. So the first thing I did when I moved out is I bought myself a leather jacket and I stopped cutting my hair. And yeah. After that, I met people who were genuinely cool. And they allowed me to hang out with them. And I learned what cool was. And cool wasn't the leather jackets and the long hair and the jeans. Cool was the attitude that came with it. An attitude that most of the people I went to school with never achieved and never would achieve. Because for them, cool was about the right fashion accessories. Just like modern teenagers, the vast majority think of cool as a combination of the right fashion accessories. Yeah. Cool isn't constantly proving that you're a real man by buying the right manly fashion accessories. And cool is not being an obnoxious asshole by telling people how stupid they are to believe in Jesus. Cool is not really giving a shit if somebody believes in Jesus or if somebody is gay, because that's not important. What matters is their overall character. Cool is, yeah, being able to get down on the floor with a toddler who wants to play with Barbies and wants you to help them play with Barbies. That's cool. That is cool. Cool is, yeah, getting together with friends and dressing up as the Spice Girls to go out to a Halloween party and not giving a shit because you're having fun. Cool is not being the least bit ashamed of the fact that you enjoy the music of Terry Jacks, despite the fact that Terry Jacks' music is objectively bad. I mean, let's face it, we had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. But, come on. But it's so much fun. And being able to listen to Terry Jacks and sing along with Terry Jacks in public and not give a shit what people think. That is cool. That is cool. But trying to be cool, oh, it's going to be a noisy morning. Trying to be cool will never be cool. And you will never achieve cool by buying the fashion accessories that you were told will make you cool. Because cool starts in here. In here. Cool is when you no longer give a shit what people think. If people want to think that I'm not cool, have at it. I know. I know. And that's all that matters.